All right, y'all. It's part four. It's part four. It's getting Hannah's story. It's getting so juicy. I mean, it's just making me so happy that I get to share this with you guys because what you don't understand is this story is life giving. And the Bible, oh, when you put it up to the fire, oh, it will not burn. Do you hear me? It will not burn. Okay? It's like literally lights up my whole world because I can tell you with full 1000% conviction. When I left, when I chose to look every generational curse, and that's like something that's repeating in your family. It could be people don't get married until they're it could be that, y'all don't get married until you're 50 and, it's you're marrying people that have had multiple kids, multiple children, all that good stuff. And listen to me, there's nothing wrong with how I say that, but then I don't want to compromise because to make you feel comfortable. I want to tell you the truth. There's nothing like it being married to your first person. That person, is non-married, didn't have it, doesn't have any extra people or things like that. And I said, don't say kids is like extra, right? But let's be real. Like, if you can marry a man that if this is his first marriage, he doesn't have any other children, this is first everything, just like it's your first everything, just like God wants it to be, um, you know, then that would be great. And that's what we want for you guys. And I'm not saying that it can't work with any other place and all that good stuff. I'm just telling you the truth. Okay. Sorry if it offends you, but not sorry because I need to tell you the truth. That remember, my audience is to the young women who have not been married and who do desire to be married. So hopefully that does not offend you because that's not the purpose of that. The purpose of this conversation is to make sure that you have a Hannah-like faith in a generation full of Peninahs and that you wait on the Lord for your blessing because he will provide it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and keep reading. And one of the things that I just didn't realize from part 1, 2, and 3 is that Peninah knew. Peninah was tormenting Hannah, but Peninah knew that her husband loved her more. Now, here's the thing that's interesting because God doesn't love anybody more or less. What he desires is obedience. And the child that is obedient with a grateful heart is the child that gets the more. That's it. Gratitude, gratefulness, and obedience. And so I wonder in your life, you know, what are you being to God? Are you being a Peninah or are you being a Hannah? And I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I didn't really want to come on here and record these videos because I'm like, God, people are not gonna listen to your word. People are so worried about flashy things. They're not worried about simple old me and what I have to say. But God was like, you're being a Peninah. You're not being a Hannah. You have so much. I've given you so much, but yet you don't want to share with the people and give them peace in their home. So I blessed you for you to flaunt around a happy home and a happy marriage and da 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 while other people are suffering. I don't want to be a God's Peninah. I want to be a Hannah. So I got my butt up as hard as it is, and I recorded these videos and I prioritized his work over everything. And I am waiting patiently and sometimes impatiently, if I'm being honest with you guys, for him to do what he said he was going to do through my life. And so as I wait, I pray to him in the way that Hannah has prayed. Now, I went back and I said, y'all, Hannah made a vow. Let's read it right now. Hannah's vow was, I will, making a vow, she pleaded, Lord of armies, if you will take notice of your servant's affliction, remember and not forget me, and give your servant a son. I will give him to the Lord all the days of his life, and his hair will never be cut. That was the Nazarite. I believe that's what my husband said. Nazarite vow. Early in the first 5 books of the Bible, you will see that when people made a vow to the Most High King, they would not cut their hair like dreads. So pretty much the same concept, but with a attachment of covenant. This is why I tell you guys that the people, the pastors that are not giving us, that did not give us, that are not giving us the first 5 books of the Bible, they are going to be in deep trouble. because they are leaving a generation of people that are hungry on appetizers, and they are leaving us starving. And that's why you have to understand the Bible in its whole. You have to understand the covenantal power. And when I mean covenant, you need to understand the first 5 books of the Bible and how we were never designed to live away from that. That Yeshua, i.e., Jesus' life, was a covering for us as a high priest and not a replacement for the things that we are supposed to be doing, like the Feast of Passovers, like not celebrating holidays, but celebrating holy days, the holy days that God has set apart for us, the Feast of Passover, the Feast of Tabernacles, all the feasts that we're supposed to be celebrating. We have neglected, and we have neglected our power. So we are left on an appetizer generation when God designed for you to be stuffing buffet in your mouth and in your belly. But because we don't have an understanding of the Torah, we don't understand why we need to be doing those things and why we don't need to be celebrating Easter, Christmas, and all that good stuff, how that is not godly. Now we are left with the remains of emptiness in our lives. But that changes after you apply all of this information. And we will talk more about the Torah. And I will be very transparent. I am still learning more about the Torah. But what I know, I will teach you, because what I know has tremendously, and just out of pure obedience to my husband who was actually following, and I was just like going along with it, my life has been tremendously blessed in ways that I cannot even tell you in this setting. So let's go ahead and continue on. While she continued praying in the Lord's presence, Eli watched her mouth. Hannah was praying silently, and though her lips were moving, her voice could not be heard. I wonder if God is waiting on your Hannah moment where you will talk with him and open up your heart with him. Now be careful of the vows that you make to the Most High King, because you will have to complete them. But I wonder if he's just waiting for women to cry out to him in the way that Hannah did, and to give him their lives and their lineages so that they can be blessed. I wonder what God is waiting on to bless you. Have you gone to him deep enough, in despair enough, to cry out to him? Because that was one of the biggest blessings. Samuel was one of the biggest blessings, the biggest priest to our Bible, because of Hannah's prayer. May you be a Hannah in a generation of Peninahs. Oof, come on now. May you be the one to stand obedient through the test of times, so that you can bring about a godly offspring and a godly lineage. So Eli thought she was drunk and said to her, "How long are you going to be drunk? Get rid of your wine." "No, my lord," Hannah replied. "I am a woman with a broken heart. I haven't had any wine or beer. I've been pouring out my heart before the Lord. Don't think of me as a wicked woman. I've been praying from the depth of my anguish and resentment." Eli responded, "Go in peace. May the God of Israel grant the request you made of him. May your servant find favor with you." She replied. Then Hannah went on her way. She ate and no longer looked despondent. Let's keep reading. The next morning, Elkanah and Hannah got up early to worship before the Lord. Afterward, they returned home to Ramah. Then Elkanah was intimate with his wife, Hannah, and the Lord remembered her. After some time, Hannah conceived and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel because she said, "I requested him from the Lord." When Elkanah and all his household went up to make the annual sacrifice and his vow offering to the Lord, Hannah did not go up, and explained to her husband, "After the child is weaned, I'll take him to appear in the Lord's presence and stay there permanently." Her husband Elkanah replied, "Do what you think is best and stay here until you have weaned him. May the Lord confirm your